Today we're going to go ahead and apply a Freestyle Libre 3 sensor as fast as humanly possible because I'm solo parenting tonight. My wife's out for a while, so in hopes that my toddler does not interrupt us, we're going to run through this. But I got my hands on a Freestyle Libre 3. I actually can't show you the logo because my prescription number's on that part. So we're gonna put that aside, but I'm gonna show you how to put it on. And this is actually my first experience ever with the Freestyle Libre 3. I wear a different CGM that is called the Dexcom. This is the G6. I also have the G7. I've also had the Eversense E3 sensor. I mean, there's been a number of different CGMs I've had the pleasure of reviewing, and I get sent stuff sometimes. Now, when getting this set up, you might experience something that I did today as well, which was kind of a surprise. It's a warning as soon as you download the app. So first thing first, you got to download the app. You got to approve or accept all their terms of service, the privacy policy, all that kind of stuff. And then you get to this screen, which I'm going to take a screenshot maybe. Yeah, there we go. I'll put it on screen for you, but you can also see it here. It says important. Go to this website and make sure that the sensor you have doesn't have one of the lot numbers that we've seen cause issues. And so I did. I went to the website and the first 4 or 5 numbers were the exact same. And I was like, oh no, the one sensor I have, but we're good. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to hit next. It's going to tell me to input my data. So we're going to go in, yes, I'm in the United States. I prefer milligrams per deciliter. Other option is millimoles. And I'm going to go ahead and hit next. We're going to go in with carbohydrates being entered as grams. That's my favorite. It's more precise when offered the option as opposed to servings. Serving can vary quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. Grams, and we got get started. Take a few moments to get used to it. So first screen is continuous glucose readings. It explains you have to have Bluetooth with that. I'm going to put these on screen as I go. Second one, it shows your current glucose. This shows 215. Mine is not 215. In fact, I'm going to take a screenshot of this so you can see my Dexcom. Since I have far too many client notifications for you to look at my phone right now, I actually work with type 1 diabetics myself. I coach type 1s to help them to identify and fine-tune their blood sugar formulas. So what we do is very precise, and CGMs can be a very helpful tool in that process because we can analyze the CGM graphs and get more information from our blood sugars, identify where we can make improvements, right? So I am at 139 right now. I've been between 139 and 147 for the last 2 hours. Had an interesting dinner. I had pancakes. I had dark chocolate peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's. If you're a longtime follower, you know those are my favorite. My daughter and I had soup. I made some turkey. She had a giant bowl of fruit. I had some of the fruit too. Great dinner, and literally have not moved more than 10 points since then, which is actually better than a non-diabetic's numbers. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. Anyways, let's get back to it. So it shows current readings. It tells you about trend arrows. If you haven't watched my stuff, consider subscribing. We go into those in a lot more detail in the rest of the videos that I put up. But we've got the trend arrows, the glucose graph, glucose messages, notifications. It shows what the colors are going to look like based on the background color. Red is low. Yellow is either just outside of the ranges, 70 and 250. And then orange is high glucose. You can probably hear my daughter right now calling for me. So we're gonna get out of this pretty quick. We got the arrow charts, right? I'll put that on screen as well. And this shows the rate of change. So when you have a CGM, Dexcom does the same thing. It tells you how fast your blood sugars or blood glucose, I use those interchangeably, how fast they're moving, right? So if it's stable, you're stable. If it's slanted up or down, it's starting to move in that direction. If it's an arrow up or arrow down, it's moving, and you might need to pay close attention to that. So we're gonna hit next and get our way going. Treatment decisions, it says if you're low and you're not feeling it, you might need to calibrate. It's always a good thing to do. Treatment decisions, if sensor glucose reading does not match how you feel, do a blood glucose test. If you don't have one of these, highly suggest you get one. I actually happen to have one right here because I'm replacing mine. I've learned that you need to replace these about once every 5 years to make sure that it's still accurate. This is the Vario One Touch, or the One Touch Vario IQ. It happens to be what my insurance covers, but I like it. So I'm gonna hit next again. This is an important one for you guys. Do not take high doses of vitamin C, more than 500 milligrams per day. on the Freestyle Libre 3. This may falsely raise your sensor readings. Supplements like Airborne or Emergency have high doses of vitamin C. Read labeling for all supplements to determine vitamin C content. With Dexcom, I have to watch acetaminophen. This is another one that can cause false high blood sugar readings. There are also things that can cause false lows, so it's important to know these distinctions. If I sleep on top of my sensor with this specific Dexcom one, they call them pressure lows, where the sensor goes past your interstitial fluid and is measuring essentially nothing, and it thinks that you're low, and you might have a low alert. Sometimes you need to use your brain, which is hard to do when it's 2 o'clock in the morning, to identify when it's that, when it's not. But if you're curious about that, drop a comment, see if we can get you some help. All right, we got glucose alarms. Alarms will notify when your glucose goes above or below the levels you set. We know that. Check your audio, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's just a lot of things that they're walking us through. Check phone settings. I'm gonna put all these on the video because this is taking too long. I gotta get back to my daughter. Allow Bluetooth, yes. Stop optimizing battery usage. Yes, that's fine. Do not disturb, override. Yes, that's fine, right? We're basically saying this CGM has the power to do whatever it wants because we want it to notify us if we have some scary blood sugars, right? If I were to have an urgent low or if there was a high that needs my attention. All right, apply a sensor. Let's do it. Note, do not take cap off sensor applicator. All right, this is the fun part. And here's the really fun part and the reason I'm doing this at 9 o'clock at night. My Dexcom expires. Ooh, look at that. It's kind of fancy. I actually like that display. My Dexcom expires in an hour and this sensor actually expires tomorrow. And so, perfect timing. What we're gonna do, actually let me see what my blood sugars are doing right now. It was 139, now it's 136. So you know what, I'm gonna keep the other sensor on even though I've got an hour because this only takes an hour and I'd like to have blood glucose readings as I'm getting my daughter ready for bed, just in case I need to have some sugar, right? Because there's a chance with all this insulin on board plus activity, the insulin might work faster than expected. It might work before the food completely digests, and that would lead into a potential low blood sugar. So I want to be ready for that. So it says do not take cap off sensor applicator until you're ready to apply the sensor. So what I'm going to do first, I actually have this alcohol swab, and it is not expired. Good. So we're going to put this one on, not on, we're going to wipe it. Okay, I'm probably going to put it down here. So we got this area, just very, I'm missing the word from my brain right now. It's been a long day, but we're gonna go ahead and chuck that. This is a very laid back sensor application. Sterile, okay, I'm ready, hit next. Scan the new sensor. Oh, that's right, Freestyle Libre 3 is a scan. Touch the sensor to the back of your phone. Let's see if it works together. Ooh, well that's cool. I've never had that before. Dexcom just kind of throws it to your phone. This actually connects, or requires a tap, I suppose. So it says, you know, don't take too much vitamin C, blah, blah, blah. Sensor ready in 60 minutes. Uh-oh, wait. I think I have to put it on before I did that, shoot. All right, so I'm gonna unscrew it. We've got the insides right there. All right, and hopefully this works. We're gonna feel it, I think. All right, this is gonna be our spot to go. Did it go in? You guys tell me, did it go in? Is it bleeding? Oh, ow, oh my gosh, actually, that was a risky move. I knew it was. That went straight into my muscle. So I'm very lean in that there's no fat in that area. I'm doing this because there's, obviously this sensor's about to go out and we're gonna put the new one on my right arm. So I was trying to have one for each arm after I put the new Dexcom on. Let's see. So this is what I always do with new sensors. I get full range of motion, make sure that, you know, I can still work out and whatnot. I flex my muscles in each direction. So I'm flexing tricep right now to see if that triggers anything. It feels totally fine now. Okay. I was a little worried because this is my only sensor for Freestyle. So what I did, now that we're here, I went ahead and pushed down. That's literally it. So it was together, I unscrewed it, I put it on my skin where I wanted it, and I pushed. I applied pressure. Honestly, the insertion, totally fine, zero pain. I was a baby there for a second. I kind of jumped. I didn't feel anything though. But as soon as I moved my arm, I think my muscle kind of touched where the needle was, and the needle comes back out, so now it's just the wire, and now there's no pain. So we're good. But as you can see, we're gonna see if this comes in. I did it out of order. We got 58 minutes, so I think, and maybe read the screenshots. Actually, I took screenshots of everything so I could show you on screen. Let's see what it says. It initially told me the sensor should only be applied to the back of your upper arm. Cool, I did that. Note, do not take cap off sensor applicator until you are ready to apply the sensor. How to apply sensor? Okay, so it says apply a new sensor. That's on me. I totally missed that. So I did it out of order. We're gonna see if it works, but it's still counting down. We got 58 minutes. So there you go. I'll come back and we'll do a full review. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, I am gonna be doing a review on these two sensors together. I've done previous reviews on the Dexcom G6 versus the Dexcom G7. I think I did one with the Eversense versus the Dexcom G6. And now, of course, will be the Freestyle Libre 3 versus the Dexcom G6. So if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. I don't just do tech reviews. In fact, I'll be right there, honey. There's my daughter. She's amazing. It's her bedtime, actually. I don't usually do tech review stuff. What I do is more blood sugar analytics. So I love interpreting the data that these devices give us. And that's what I help clients do. And doing a whole other bunch of experiments on myself. And that's a lot of where I get joy with diabetes, is I experiment on myself, see how crazy we can get, and ultimately enjoy more of life because blood sugars are well controlled. So if you like that idea, consider hitting the subscribe button, drop a comment, and we'll get back to the video in just a sec when this comes back in an hour. All right, my daughter wanted to be on camera, so come here, sweetheart. Okay. Come here, my girl. Oh, so this is Brooklyn. Say hi.
Hi.
And we're gonna go to bed, okay? I'll get you ready. Okay, we're gonna say bye, and Daddy's gonna come back. Bye. We're back, and we got numbers that are inaccurate, not by a lot, but interestingly enough, upon opening the app, because it notified me on my watch that sensor readings were ready, the notification that I see is this. Essentially, it says, check blood glucose, do a blood glucose test before making treatment decisions. It came up at 177, and I thought, no way. My G6, as I'll put on the screen, showed that I was 140 for the last, 2.5 hours, right? Maybe even 3 hours. And I was like, that's not possible. And so I did do a quick blood glucose check, and I'm 159. Like, dang it, they're both wrong. Now I did already switch, as you can tell. The G6 is no longer there. It's because it's on this side now, right? So we got that one. I got one per arm. Figure out this is the best possible way to, it's not the best possible way, actually. there's a lot of reasons why different arms is a good thing, a bad thing. The same arm is a good thing, bad thing. Your interstitial fluid is what's being measured. It's not your actual blood glucose, which also means technically it could be correct if I were dropping rapidly. My blood glucose is usually the most accurate and most up to date. I guess it's the best way of saying it, up to speed. Usually your CGM lags about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on which one you have. That being said, something I did notice that's really interesting is that it updated the minute after it showed a number. I have to look into this, but I think the Freestyle Libre 3 might update more often than the G6 does. So I'm gonna have to do a full in-depth review of the Freestyle Libre 3 independently and in comparison to the Dexcom CGM. So if you'd like to follow along, hit the subscribe button. I know I mentioned earlier that I coach clients as well, and I do the analytics side of things. I love looking at blood sugars, and as you can see here, 178. Actually, my phone's in grayscale right now because it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm dedicated to showing you guys this. Let me pull out a grayscale. There you go. So yeah, 178, it's showing green because technically speaking, I am in range. I don't like that number. It's way too high for me, but it is technically in range. So it's working as it should, which is really exciting. Everything's great. The sensor is working. It's a little bit high, so I'm going to calibrate that, bring it back down closer to the 159 marker, and we'll be off to the races. I've got another hour and 50 minutes for this one to warm up. So the first pro is that the Freestyle Libre 3 only took an hour. That's a lot. You know, you got an hour back where you have readings. You can make decisions that are more informed. So now I know I might need to get a correction of insulin in me an hour earlier than I otherwise would have known. So if you like this video, let me know. Love to hear from you guys in the comments. I know I mentioned I take on private clients. I help people get their blood sugars dialed in for more precision control that allows for a higher quality of life. I've maintained over 90% time in range over the last 5 years consistently, while training for an Ironman, while raising a family, while running a business, all these things and more. You can do this as well. Traveling, eating the fun foods. I do not limit myself with carbs, right? Those are possible, but the only way to do that without losing your mind is through getting your blood sugar formulas set up. Best place to learn about blood sugar formulas is at diabetesinaction.com. So go there, check it out. It's a free training I put together that kind of shows high level an introduction, what I do with clients, how to use blood sugar formulas, and probably a few golden nuggets that might help you along today. So diabetesinaction.com. I'll link it up in the description for you as well. And if you're one of us, you are a renegade warrior, you think differently and you expect different outcomes than the standard medical system. So let's all rise together. Appreciate you for being here. Hopefully this video is helpful, and we'll get the comparison in about 14 days when this thing ends. As you can see, ends in 14 days. So we'll see you then. Hit subscribe. Go check out diabetesinaction.com. We'll see you in the next video. Keep up the fight. Hey, so quick correction. I wanted to make sure that my calibration was accurate. So anytime I calibrate a CGM, I get at least 2 readings. If the 2 readings don't match, I get a third and take an average of the 3. Because when I calibrate, I'm telling the CGM, no, you're wrong. Here's the accurate number. So I want to make sure it's actually accurate, right? So first check was 159, like I told you. Second was 182. So no. That's interesting. It's quite different, and it's closer to what the CGM says. One more finger prick. Let's get an average. The third reading was 177. Ooh. So, I mean, good news, bad news. It's exactly right. Bad news, I'm actually higher than I'd like to be. So, I'm going to take a quick correction of insulin, go for a walk, chug some water, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep up the fight.